Welcome back, friends, to another New World video. Today, we're going to be watching another episode of Forged in Eternum. We've got Scott, Dave, and Katie, the usual suspects here, sitting down in front of the camera for what I suspect is going to be a little bit of damage control. If you don't know what I mean by that, recently Amazon made a big announcement for the future of the game, which was effectively just the game coming to Xbox and PlayStation, which in and of itself, like, it's not necessarily a bad thing, but it's the way that Amazon have sort of delivered the narrative up until this point. I'm going to play a series of clips from previous Forged in Eternum episodes, starting back in December of 2023, and you guys can maybe get an idea of, you know, what we were kind of expecting for the community and then what Amazon actually announced and what we saw.
So our plan today is to give you a lot of information on what's coming between now and May. And then in May, we're going to do another one of these, and we're committing right now to telling you everything that you're going to get for the rest of the year. And, you know, like I said, we have a lot planned this year, so we're pretty excited about it. I know we had promised a roadmap in May, and unfortunately, we are not going to be able to share that until June. We take our commitments serious, but we've got some new information on our side that's just going to mean we can't share it. We are still super excited about it, and hopefully you can all be patient and understand it's just going to be a couple weeks behind where we had planned on sharing it.
And the way the game controls is it's very much like other action RPGs that you've played. So you can run around in all directions, regardless of camera. It's not locked behind you.
The Lost are an enemy type that you'll encounter in Eternum.
And when we're in town, we enter the refining part of the trade skill loop. So this is smelting, weaving, other trade skills that let you refine those goods you've gathered into usable goods for the crafting portion.
So yeah, as you can see, it kind of feels like we're being trolled a little bit, almost like, you know, they're kind of, for a bit of lack of the word, taking the piss, as one would say. So maybe this Q&A video, they're gonna answer some actual questions regarding content for the game, because effectively all we know is Xbox, PlayStation, Crossplay, which is pretty cool. There's going to be a raid, a PvP zone, but we know very few details about the raid and not really much about the PvP zone either. So it'd be interesting to hear some stuff about the actual new content, and maybe they can clarify what the heck is going on when they keep calling this game an action RPG. They're no longer calling it an MMO, they're now calling it an action RPG, which has got people wondering that, you know, it's a completely different game. Anyway, I'm rambling. Let's watch the video, shall we? This is the New World Forged in Eternum Community Q&A, June 2024. Here we go, friends. Here we go.
Hey everybody, welcome to the June Q&A of Forged in Eternum. I'm Scott, I'm here with Katie and Dave, and we want to answer your questions. Before we start though, I wanted to make a few acknowledgements. So we've just had our exciting announcement of New World Eternum, and we've seen a lot of questions from you. So this is really addressed to answer you, the PC players' questions.
Okay.
Rather than us.
It's just for us. It's not for the console players. This is a video just for PC, which is, you know, that's something that we should have had on the same day, I think, but okay.
Pull each question out like we normally do. There were so many. We just thought we'd aggregate them down into a smaller subset so we could answer as many as possible and make sure we get you as much information as we can. Some good news, Chuck's filling in for Lovin today, so you won't be hearing us yell at him, we'll be yelling at Chuck just instead. Bring him on, Chuck.
All right, why aren't communications more PC focused, given it's the PC audience who has been told to wait for June?
Our first announcement on June 7th was really important that we had a very clear announcement for all of the new players who, you have to remember, a lot of people never heard of New World, they don't know what it is, so for us to get it out there, we wanted a nice, clean message to them.
As an existing New World player,
maybe they should have said then that, you know, the announcement isn't going to be on June 7th for the PC. They could have, you know, given some heads up on that and told us that our information is coming later. Because as of right now, we still don't know when is the information for us then. So that would have been good if they mentioned that.
What is my experience on October 15th?
Yeah, so if you're a current player, when this hits, you'll get all the new content if you have the Rise of the Angry Earth DLC. If you have the base game, you will get some of what we've done because there are quite a few quality of life improvements that we've included. So your experience will be uninterrupted, your progression continues, and you continue your time in Eternum from New World.
It's still vague. I don't know. I still feel like they could be more in depth about that. What does some mean? There's not enough. I know it's 4 months away, but it's still, we waited at this point to the announcement. It still feels like these answers are very vague.
World.
Hopefully you'll have a lot more players to play with in the world as well.
That's the goal.
So why console?
Well, we've wanted to bring New World to console for a long time. I mean, if you've ever
Money.
played it on a controller or on your
Lots of
couch,
money.
it just feels great. So I think it's something we've wanted to do for a long time, and I think we feel ready now. And I think, it's, like you said, it's going to bring a lot of new players to the game, which will be exciting.
And a lot of money.
What is being added for existing PC players come October 15th?
A lot. So I'm going to start with the PC players who own Rise of the Angry Earth.
Okay.
Cutlass Keys has been up-leveled, and part of that up-leveling is a new free-for-all zone and a new 10-person raid that's a real raid, 3 bosses, the true progression, and it's
Why is this camera so zoomed in? What the heck?
really, really hard. They're going to get a whole new entry-level experience. Actually, everyone's going to get this. A new Fatui. The story has been modified. We've added some new...
A new what? Wait, hold on. Say that word again. What was that, Scott?
A new Fatui.
First time user interaction? I don't know. That's some lingo right there. I don't know.
The story has been modified. We've added some new characters to the beach. But how we tell the story is going to be vastly improved. We've had an enhanced dialogue system, which is basically cinematic cameras that zoom way in. You'll actually see yourself in the conversation with the NPCs. What else have we added, Katie? There's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, so we've made Arenas Crossworld. We've also added matchmaking, which is super cool. And we've done optimizations across the game that PC players are going to get to benefit from, which I think is great. Dave, is there?
Gear score increase, I
Gear
don't think we
score
mentioned. Did you mention
increase.
solo trials? So,
did not.
So we have these amazing soul trials that you get throughout the MSQ experience, but like you experience them once and then you're like, man, I wish I could do that over. Well, we've got it. Now we've made it an end game experience for solo players. You can do 3 a day, you get cool rewards, you get to see these cool fights again.
Yeah, they're up-leveled so that they are true end game. I think it's going to be super exciting.
And Katie mentioned performance improvements. I want to make sure we're really clear. There's going to be a lot of performance improvements for the PC players, a lot. And a lot of quality of life improvements, especially for the PC players who are using a gamepad now. But across the board, you'll see them, and there's been so many changes. I'm sure we're forgetting some, but we're going to have a graphic that shows you all of those here playing in a minute.
Here we go.
Why is New World Eternum called an ARPG and not an MMORPG?
That's a good question. I think this is mostly just due to marketing and thinking it will sell more copies, but let's see what Scott has to say.
You can still play Eternum the way you've always played it, but because of all of the changes we've done to the storytelling, the way we tell the story, because of the way our camera and combat and navigation work through the world, we feel like, you know, we're across so many genres, but this pushes us solidly into the ARPG, which is a little more well-known on console.
See, that's the truth is right at the end there, because you know you can have an MMO with like cutscenes that zoom into characters and stuff like that. Like that, that doesn't have to be part of an ARPG. But yeah, he's the end there. You know, it's the quiet stuff out loud. It is, to my understanding, the reason why they call this a single-player game with co-op elements, and the reason why they're calling it an action RPG is because they believe, again, to my understanding, that it leads to more sales on console. It will be more popular on console. More people are likely to check it out if it's labeled as an ARPG. Again, this is my understanding of what really is going on there.
Is New World Eternum a separate game?
No, it is the continuation of New World. It is an update to it that brings a ton new.
It's a patch.
Is New World closing down and launching as single player?
No, New World is not closing down. Your experience will continue after this update. There is definitely a lot of opportunity for a solo experience that's coming with this. We have the updated main story quest line that you've all seen, where you can now go through it without being required to do group content. And now we have the up-leveled solo trials. So that's something that now, like from beginning to end, if you choose to, you can do it solo. We still have a ton of group content. It's still a big open world with a lot of people in it. So it's not pivoting. It's just an addition to.
You know, I feel like the fact that people have that question though, like, is the game shutting down and becoming a single-player game? Like, the fact that is even something that people are asking just goes to show that something has gone wrong with that communication. Like, why would that even be a question somebody has? But it's just the way that this information has come out over the past few days. It's really been a mess. All right, let's keep going. I don't know. I don't feel like there's anything of substance has been answered yet, but let's keep going.
We lose our characters in progress?
That's the same question.
No, again. No, I think, if you have a character, you can continue to play it. If it's endgame, you can jump right into that endgame. If you do want to start a new character, you can and join the Fresh Start Worlds, but your old character will be there. You can jump right into the experience of endgame with it.
What will current players get between now and October?
Oh,
Right
God.
now, our focus is on an awesome, clean release on October 15th. Now, in the interim, we are still going to have a summer medley fair, but beyond that, there's not really going to be anything. Our focus, on top of all the features we talked about, we're trying to fix as many bugs as we can, and we want this to be just a super polished experience. We're very, very excited for that launch date, and we want to do it right at high quality.
Hey, so here's the thing, okay, before Katie talks, right? That sounds really bad. I know, I kind of had a sense this was already coming, that they are investing all of their resources into console, and for lack of a better way to phrase it, they don't really care about what's happening right now in the current state of the game. It doesn't make them that much money. There's not that many people playing. They've kind of messed things up too bad, to the point where it's almost irredeemable. So yeah, they're just going to focus on console. And hey, I kind of get it. It makes sense from a business standpoint. Of course, I don't like it as a player. The only thing that I'm worried about is, what is the likelihood that there are still bugs and there are still issues on console? Man, I still feel like it's really very likely. And that is, I really hate that I feel that way and I think that way, but there's been so many times in the past. I could roll a clip right now of Scott Lane saying hey, we know we wanted to focus on bugs in Season 4 and we messed up, but we're really really trying to make sure Season 5 is a clean release. In fact, let's just play the clip, the exact words that Scott Lane is saying.
We hear you loud and clear on, we've not had a great history of releases being clean, and we told you it was a focus of ours, and then we had the Season 4, which we weren't proud of. We're taking the time here to try and get it right. And let's not forget, we just completely changed the entire underlying system under our animation system, which means all navigation and combat, mantling. There were problems, and you found a lot in the PTR, and we want to address as many of those as we can. We're not going to get all of them, but we are prioritizing the ones that could be exploitive in gameplay. It's super important. And, this is a new process that we've got to give it a shot. And we need to get better. And we're really doing everything we can to make Season 5 a clean release.
And then for those of you who don't know, Season 5, I'm going to just share some footage on the screen right now. This is what Season 5 looked like.
Movement is sluggish. There was this bow machine gun exploit with cannon blast, people floating mid-air, healing skills delayed, musket shooting twice, hotkeys randomly unbinding. Desync range attacks don't happen all the time, perk tooltips broken, camera zoom level is stuck, endless javelins without even having javelin equipped, skills not going off, weapons not swapping, event bug, colliding with players while not flagged and have weapon sheets, research projects that can't be crafted, life taker damage invisible and going through shields, life taker disabled, next bow machine gun exploit, pen shot and poison shot disabled, tower cam skills placeable inside forts, cam skin disabled, sharp increase in game mode instability, player model stuck in random places, stuck in animations, please help step bro.
Jesus! It was anything but a clean release, so them taking time to focus on bugs and fix stuff, if it actually led to that result, fantastic, but the concern for me is that it doesn't lead to that result. So it's, PC players are being made to pay right now in terms of we get no content, and then console gets a smoother release, except they don't get a smoother release. I mean, God, I don't know. I hope they can change it and they can bring it back, but I completely get why people in the YouTube comments are going to say, Baggins, it's not happening. I get why everybody's saying in the video that that's not going to happen and it is going to be a buggy mess. I mean, Amazon's got such a terrible reputation with the New World that it's hard to imagine anything else good happening. Anyway, it's getting really depressing. Let's keep going on with the video. Jeez.
Yeah, and we also, it's worth mentioning that we're going to have a couple testing opportunities coming up. One is going to be specific for consoles because that's a technical test. And then the other one is going to be across all platforms, so PC players can participate in that. And in addition, one thing that I know is just like a separate call out, and maybe not a lot of people have been asking about this, but I think it's super cool that we have a pre-order bonus for a console that if you're on PC and you log into your character between June 7th, which was our announced date, and October 14th, you get access to that, which is the Azos Stalker Dire Wolf mount.
I don't think that's super cool. It's gotta be said. I do not think that is super cool. But okay. I mean, yeah, it's nice that we get the pre-order bonus, I guess, but I don't think that... If you had to give me the choice between, hey, Baggins, you want to get the Summer Medley for the next 4 months, or you can have the Azoth Stalker mount? I mean, yeah, I would... Can I have some content instead, please? All right.
Are seasons going away? When is the next season coming?
No, seasons are not going away. We're committed to the seasonal model and bringing players regular cadence of content. The next
Regular, but it's going to be 7 months between 2 seasons.
season is with the New World Eternum launch on October 15th.
How does
So to put that into perspective, by the way, I think Season 5 launched 2 months ago, and this is 4 months from now. So yeah, it's 6 months between Season 5 and Season 6. So not exactly a regular cadence. It's going to be said, Dave, but okay.
crossplay work?
If you're on PC, it couldn't be easier. You just play the game. And in the world, you'll be joined with new friends from PS5 and Xbox. That happens in the open world. Another important thing to mention is all this cross-world and matchmaking will now be joined with a larger play pool. So they get to not only be in the open world with you, but will join all the queues and matchmaking.
One thing that I've heard is console has its own private servers. Maybe they're about to ask that now, but if that happens and they choose to all do that, PC's not going to have a lot of people to play with. Anyway, let's see if they talk about that.
Console players join the existing PC servers.
Yeah, so console players will have the ability to join the existing worlds that we see on PC today.
Okay.
The only things that are going to happen, and some folks should be used to this because it's the way that we did the Fresh Start Worlds for Brimstone Sands, is that if you have a legacy character, it cannot move to the new worlds that we're creating at launch. So that's something where if your console friends want to play with you on your current server, they're able to do that. But if you want to play with them on the Fresh Start Worlds, you do have to create a new character, which I think is a lot of fun because we revamped and changed a lot in the new starting experience. So I think it's worth it to log in with a new character that day.
I won't disagree, honestly. Starting a new character on Fresh Start, it is actually a pretty good experience. I would recommend it. Honestly, I think it's going to be better than trying to jump into the end game, because that isn't really where they put most of their efforts, it's going to be said. So you may as well, if you do want to play New World again, do the stuff that they've been focused on, make a new character, Fresh Start. That's probably what I'm going to do, to be honest. I do want to do the raid and the PvP zone, but for the beginning, I think that'll be where the most fun is, I guess.
Will PC players who only have the base game and not Rise of the Angry Earth expansion still be able to play after October?
Absolutely. And the experience is going to get a lot better. They won't be able to access all of the content, the stuff that's gated behind level, or some of the things that were part of Rise of the Angry Earth, like the flail and mounts.
Okay, so it is basically just the same model as Rise of the Angry Earth. So if you want to use artifacts, if you want to get to level 65 or do the end game, then you still need to have Rise of the Angry Earth. Whatever the equivalent purchase is going to be then, I guess.
But they will get to see the new storytelling, the way we tell it. They're going to get the new Fatui. They're going to get all of the performance improvements, all the bug fixes,
the Fatui,
and even some of the solo trials that are in 1 through 60.
Will the release of New World Eternum change the minimum and recommended specs of the game?
No, between now and the launch of New World Eternum, and after that, we have no plans to adjust those min and rec specs.
Interesting.
And it might even play better on the minimum specs.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Absolutely, it will.
More than might, yeah, it will.
Will New World Eternum bring DirectX 12 to the game?
Yes, we're very excited to bring DirectX 12 with all the work we've been doing on console. It now can come to PC and bring enhanced rendering for everyone.
Will the non-Eternum version of the game continue to receive new content?
Yeah, so, I mean, first off, there is going to be no non-Eternum version of the game. On October 15th, we're all playing Eternum. I think what we're talking about is the base game. And so for the base game, you'll continue receiving updates. You'll get access to our quality of life improvements, seasonal events, things like that. I will say that
it's kind of like the same as it is now. Like if you don't purchase the Rise of the Angry Earth update, you still get like the new season. You still get patches and stuff. It's just like a lot of the content will be gated towards end game and stuff, you know, like the season pass, for example. Right now, you can get it without having Rise of the Angry Earth, I believe. But the artifacts that are in the season pass, you're not going to be able to do anything with them because you can't equip them because you haven't purchased Rise of the Angry Earth.
In order to like really experience the best version of this game, like the ultimate version of this game, that's what you get with the Rise of the Angry Earth DLC as part of Eternum.
Yeah.
If I don't have the Rise of the Angry Earth expansion, will I still get the pre-order bonus?
So this is a pretty interesting one because when you log in, you get an entitlement to that pre-order bonus to the Azos Stalker. But if you don't have Rise of the Angry Earth, you can't access mounts, which is what that goes through. So if you do purchase the Rise of the Angry Earth DLC after you've logged in after a while, you will get that pre-order bonus because it's attached to your account.
Will New World Eternum continue to receive regular updates after its release on October 15th?
Dude, what the heck are these questions, man? Is it like... Can I still play New World with a mouse and keyboard after October 15th? Like, yes, of course you... God.
Sure will. We're going to get back onto our regular seasonal cadence. And, you know, we're always working toward our next piece of large content. So it's all in the works.
Will New World Eternum support cross-progression between PC and consoles?
No.
No, we don't support cross progression between the consoles and PC. We only support crossplay.
Where's the roadmap?
I know this is the most asked question, and we are really happy we're here to answer it. So between now and October 15th, we're going to release the Summer Medley Fair, and there might be a couple minor patches coming out around problems. Beyond that, hopefully you can see the graphic.
Here we go. All right, here's the graphic. I'm going to move my camera. This better be exciting. New World Eternum coming October 15th. New 10-player raid. New PvP zone. Repeatable endgame soul trials. Gear score increased to 725. Matchmaking. Cross-world arenas. Up-leveled Cutlass Key zone with new quests and enemies. And more. Swimming. Rendering. Player archetypes. Fresh start worlds. Quality of life improvements. Okay, so the roadmap is just the October 15th update. There's nothing more, nothing less. It's just New World Eternum. Well, I don't know. Maybe I'm just immune to it at this point. I'm just expecting to be disappointed. But they've been promising the roadmap since... You mean, you guys watched the start of the video. I assume if you made it to this point, you saw the start of the video. They said there was going to be the roadmap in December. And then they said, actually, if you wait for the roadmap in May, and then it's in June. And then here's the roadmap. Here it is. It's just the update. It's that one update. But we do have the Summer Medley Fair between now and October 15th.
I'm most excited about are the 10-player raid, the new PvP zone, which is going to be awesome. Matchmaking, we're up-leveling Cutlass Keys with new quests and enemies. I know you've all asked for swimming, so we have swimming, and there's a bunch of other things that you can see here.
So the things that Scott Lane are most excited for is everything that's in the update, basically.
Yeah, and then after Eternum launches, we will be able to put out the 2025 roadmap. So super excited for that.
In halfway through 2025, and it's just going to be more and more image.
Hey, thank you very much for the questions. We appreciate the passion. Dave and Katie, thank you so much for answering them with me. To all the players, we will see you in Eternum.
Well, guys, that was a video. Yep, I can see why people are upset. It didn't really, I don't know what more they can say. I think the problem is they can't say anything more because there isn't anything more. I mean, it still would be cool to just get like a little bit of a deep dive or more footage of the raid just to see like, okay, right, the few pieces of content that we do actually have, you know, it's not a lot. It's the raid, it's the PvP zone, and it's the soul trials. Maybe just show us one soul trial or show us like the first boss of the raid or some PvP action. I don't know, anything just so we can see what we are getting, even if it's not much. I mean, it can't, I don't know. People's expectations and morale is so low that I don't know. Could it really get worse? I mean, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, it's, I don't know. I feel like for the most part, friends, it is, you know, people say New World's a dead game. I think on PC until October, yeah, it basically is. You know, they seem to have checked out of supporting the game. In the meanwhile, they're just going to focus on the console release. I just hope... I don't want to see New World get shut down. I know it seems like a lot of people... It's just going to happen. It's inevitable. But yeah, I don't want to see the game get shut down. I do still like it, despite all its flaws. I just hope that, you know, they can take all this time and actually get the console release right. But I don't have a lot of confidence in that, so... We'll have to wait and see, friends. A lot of you guys ask, Baggins, what are your plans here on the channel? I am still going to cover New World content. Obviously, there's not really anything to cover for the next 4 months, so we're going to be playing a few other games here and there. Interested to try out PAX Day next week. Maybe we'll have a little bit of gameplay on that, my opinions on it. Terrasland is at the end of this month, which is like the Chinese World of Warcraft. Elden Ring DLC, I'm probably going to get owned in that. But yeah, if you guys want to tune into the stream and say hi, we'll be goofing around in New World and playing other games that look interesting in the meantime. I am going to cover content for New World Eternum. I think there will be a lot of console players who want to know about builds and guides and stuff like that. But nonetheless, if you're here watching this video and you made it all the way to the end, thank you for sharing my struggle with me. Appreciate you guys a lot. I know New World hasn't been the best to us or whatever, but yeah, I will be here checking out New World Eternum in October, so if you want to see what that looks like when it finally arrives, you can subscribe and wait for that video. But as always, friends, thank you so much, everybody, for hanging out with me. I'll catch you guys all in the next video.